Hi, I'm joined by Laurie Finstad Knizhnik, who is the creator of Strange Empire. Welcome to the second annual Canadian International Television Festival. How are you feeling to be here?
Very glad because I'm almost finished work after 7 months in Vancouver, and It's nice to have a night out. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Enjoy the celebration. How do you think Strange Empire influences Canadian television?
It's a little different. It's very serialized. It's something brand new. It's novelistic. I like that. So people seem to be getting into it. So
What prompted you to create the whole idea and show?
because it would either be a television show or it would be a novel, I suspect.
Okay, and you rather a television show than a novel?
It's the way that I write, and I wasn't really sure that anyone would be that interested in doing something that complex. I mean, it's I suppose in a way it's a kind of a soap, but it's pretty complex.
Right.
So I wasn't necessarily certain that somebody would want it for television, but it turned out otherwise. So.
Well, the characters are very, as you said, complex and have a lot going on. The three main leads, they're very powerful and strong women. What inspired you to create Isabel, Rebecca, and Cat?
The fact that most Westerns are about men and that women have very particular roles, conventional roles in Westerns, and we never really explored what women were doing back then and what they might have been doing differently. Certainly historically they did things that were exceptional and extraordinary, but it's not reflected actually in the storytelling. So
Was there an inspirational woman in your life that any of these characters are based on?
in my personal life,
In your personal life.
a lot of the women that I work with, I just think they're wonderful. Women filmmakers like Jane Campion, Anne Wheeler here, people like that. I have a lot of great female writers in Canada that deserve a voice. Yeah.
Well, and like I said, they are very strong and powerful, but they also kind of channel today's modern women, despite the fact that the show is set in a Western in 1869. What kind of feedback have you received from female viewers?
I haven't received very much yet. As I said, I've just finished shooting, and I'm still working in post. So there's some activity on Twitter. Women seem to be enjoying it. They seem to be glad to see something different. So I'm looking forward to what they have to say.
Well, I love it personally. I really, really do, and I think it's a great concept, a great show, great characters. What kind of research and preparation did you have to do?
A lot of reading of journals and histories, fairly alternative histories, First Nations people, novels from that time to get the language. Elmore Leonard, who wrote great Westerns. Yeah. The research is the best part, actually, of the writing. It's a wonderful kind of dreamy part of making a story. So,
what's the most memorable moment through your research? Something that you learned and you went like, whoa, I did not know that.
Oh, that's a good question. There's a fantastic book. It was written many years ago by a very odd historian. It's called Wisconsin Death Trip. And it puts together texts from newspapers around the same period and photographs, old glass plate photographs, to give an impression of the consciousness of individuals at that time. Very terrible things happened to people, horrible accidents, deaths in childbirth, deaths of children, and so on and so forth. And I was really struck by that. I was really struck by just how tough it was and how we gloss that over and we get kind of nostalgic about the West, and it just wasn't like that.
It has a whole kind of glamour feel when we think back onto the West, right? And that's just as you said, that's not,
It's not
reality. No, not at all. Now, I know you weren't too keen on pitching the show to CBC because of the content. What was your reaction like when they picked it up?
It wasn't that I wasn't too keen. It was just that I didn't think that it was necessarily a show that they would want to do because it was so serialized. So it just became a matter of, well, will they or won't they, and you know, such so it will be. But they did like it, and I was quite gratified because they've been very supportive. So.
And finally, last question for you. If you weren't living in 2014, would you want to be living in 1869 Jamestown?
No.
Why not?
Well, you know, I've been thinking about it. It's tough here now in very, very different ways. But I mean, survival is still difficult. You know, the sorts of things that we're compelled to do to make a living and the circumstances that we're facing in terms of environment and culture and, you know, world
it's not an
conflict. It's not an easy time either. So, yeah.
Things are a little more accessible in today's world. A bit.
Yeah.
Than it was back then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the first season, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more interviews from the 2014 Canadian International Television Festival's Red Carpet.